You believe other people your age have money figured out. They don't. The average financial life is quieter, poorer, and far more fragile than your imagination allows. Midnight arrives. Blue light from a screen illuminates quiet anxiety while you scroll through other people's lives wondering if everyone else secretly understands money better than you. Vacations, new cars, celebrations of success, social media displays financial confidence like theater, but theater hides backstage chaos where numbers quietly collapse behind the curtain. The uncomfortable truth is simple. Most people are improvising their finances while pretending everything is stable, hoping the structure holds long enough to avoid collapse. Consider income first. The typical full-time worker earns roughly $52,000 annually before taxes quietly carve away a significant portion of that number. After federal taxes, Social Security, and state deductions, that respectable salary shrinks dramatically, leaving far less real spending power than most people emotionally expect. Your brain interprets gross income as personal strength. Reality operates on net income, the quiet number determining whether financial survival feels calm or suffocating. Next arrives the retirement illusion. Americans imagine quiet decades of freedom, yet the median retirement savings sits around $65,000. One quarter of adults possess no retirement account at all. $0. Their future strategy relies entirely on government systems surviving decades of political turbulence. Imagine reaching retirement age with savings that generate only a few $100s monthly. The nervous system recognizes this instantly as long-term instability. This anxiety is not weakness. It is evolutionary design. Human brains evolved to detect resource scarcity long before spreadsheets existed. Your nervous system evaluates financial security through survival signals, food stability, shelter continuity, and resource reserves during unpredictable winters of life. Modern economies exploit this ancient wiring by presenting consumption as security, convincing people that purchasing visible status somehow replaces invisible financial resilience. Meanwhile, spending continues relentlessly. The average household spends more than $5,000 monthly simply sustaining modern life. Housing devours the largest portion. Thousands disappear each month merely maintaining a roof, utilities, taxes, and insurance quietly orbiting that single structure. Transportation follows closely behind, extracting another steady stream of income through vehicles, fuel, maintenance, and insurance that quietly bleed financial momentum. Add food, healthcare, utilities, and small impulsive luxuries. Suddenly, survival itself resembles an elaborate machine designed to extract continuous payments. Now examine debt. The average household carries thousands in credit card balances, often accumulated through small decisions repeated during emotionally vulnerable moments. High interest rates transform that debt into a quiet financial parasite, feeding continuously on future income while delivering absolutely no productive return, which leads to a brutal conclusion. The average financial life is not a strategy. It is improvisation inside a system engineered to reward discipline. Look closer at the average life and something disturbing appears. Decades of labor, 40 years of alarm clocks, and the financial outcome resembles a cracked bowl, barely holding anything. Humans evolved to prioritize immediate survival. Food now, shelter now, safety now. Retirement in 40 years does not trigger urgency in the primitive brain, so the nervous system procrastinates wealth. Your biology was built for hunting animals, not compound interest, so the brain happily trades tomorrow's freedom for today's dopamine spike, disguised as convenience, status, or comfort. Social media amplifies the illusion. You observe highlights, not liabilities. Vacations, not debt statements. Luxury cars, not 84-month auto loans quietly bleeding the owner's future. This creates identity friction. You believe success means appearing wealthy today, even if it guarantees poverty tomorrow. Appearance wins, mathematics loses. The nervous system chooses applause over security. So understand this clearly. The financial crisis most people experience is not caused by low income. It is caused by unconscious behavior patterns running automatically for decades. The paradigm shift begins here. Stop asking whether you earn enough. Ask a harsher question. Are your financial behaviors engineered for survival or engineered for freedom? Most financial habits operate like invisible chains. Small payments, tiny subscriptions, minimum balances, individually harmless. Collectively, they form a cage built quietly around your future self. The tragedy is subtle. Nothing collapses dramatically, no explosion, just slow erosion. Every year, another opportunity lost, another decade drifting closer to financial fragility. But here's the uncomfortable liberation. The average outcome is weak because the average system is weak, and systems can be replaced with brutal clarity. This is the Obsidian Protocol, 3 non-negotiable rules that dismantle financial mediocrity and rebuild your economic nervous system from the ground up. Rule 1. Kill silent leakage. Every dollar escaping unnoticed is a soldier deserting your army. Track it, confront it, force your spending to reveal itself. Rule 2. Eliminate toxic interest immediately. Credit card debt is not just expensive, it is financial gravity pulling every future effort downward. Escape it first. Rule 3. Automate wealth before temptation appears. Invest immediately after income arrives. The brain cannot sabotage money it never sees sitting idle. These rules sound simple. They are not. They require psychological warfare against your own impulses, your environment, and the cultural pressure to appear wealthy. Because the real enemy was never mathematics. The enemy was distraction. The enemy was impatience. The enemy was the quiet belief that average outcomes are acceptable. Now you know the numbers, the typical income, the typical savings, the typical retirement disaster slowly approaching millions of unsuspecting people. So the final question is brutally simple. Knowing where the average road leads, why would you ever choose to walk it? Imagine 2 identical lives beginning today. Same income, same city, same opportunities. Only one difference. One follows the average path, the other refuses it. The first life spends automatically. Small upgrades, slightly nicer apartments, slightly newer cars, nothing extreme. Just 1,000 comfortable decisions slowly consuming the future. The second life behaves differently. Same salary, same environment. But every financial decision passes through one brutal filter. Does this purchase buy freedom, or steal it? Over 1 year, the difference seems invisible. Over 5 years, it becomes noticeable. Over 20 years, the gap transforms into an economic canyon. This is the brutal mathematics of compounding behavior. Tiny habits repeated thousands of times become architecture, either a fortress or a prison. Most people never notice the construction happening because the prison is comfortable, climate controlled, decorated with streaming subscriptions and delivery apps. The system is elegant. Spend today, borrow tomorrow, work longer, repeat quietly until retirement arrives thinner than expected, and suddenly the numbers reveal themselves. 61 years old, retirement approaching, savings smaller than a used car, anxiety replacing optimism, but the alternative path exists, quiet, boring, invisible to social media, yet terrifyingly powerful over long time horizons. Spend slightly less than you earn. Every month, every year, without exception. This single discipline quietly defeats financial chaos. Then deploy the surplus into productive assets, businesses, index funds, ownership structures that grow while you sleep. This transforms money from temporary pleasure into permanent leverage. Each invested dollar becomes a silent worker laboring for decades. Slowly, the psychology flips. You stop asking what you can afford today. Instead, you ask what future you deserve, because wealth is not built with dramatic decisions. It is built with thousands of quiet refusals. Refuse the unnecessary upgrade. Refuse the impulse purchase. Refuse the lifestyle inflation that traps millions inside financial mediocrity. Eventually, the results appear. Debt disappears. Assets accumulate. Options multiply. Time becomes negotiable. And that is the ultimate form of wealth. Not luxury, not status, but control over your hours. The average path trades 40 years for survival. The alternative path trades discipline for autonomy. The statistics already told you where the first road leads. By poverty disquiets as a normal. So now the final decision sits quietly in front of you. Will your life follow the average, or will it be engineered? Most people believe financial failure arrives suddenly. A crisis, a market crash, a lost job. But reality is colder. It arrives silently through thousands of small, tolerated mistakes. Each unnecessary purchase feels harmless. Each subscription feels tiny. Each finance upgrade feels justified. But together they construct a slow financial suffocation few people notice until decades vanish. Because the brain loves comfort more than freedom. Comfort is immediate. Freedom requires patience measured in years, sometimes decades. This is why average outcomes exist. Not because people lack intelligence, but because the human nervous system resists delayed reward with remarkable consistency. Yet the moment you understand this weakness, it becomes a weapon. Self-awareness transforms financial behavior from unconscious reaction into deliberate strategy. Suddenly, the game changes. Spending becomes intentional. Investing becomes automatic. and financial chaos begins losing territory year after year, not because you became extraordinary, but because you stopped behaving like the average system expects, and the system never expected resistance. It assumed consumption would remain automatic. It assumed debt would feel normal. It assumed saving would feel optional. But one disciplined individual quietly breaks the pattern, then another, then another. Eventually, the difference becomes undeniable. One group reaches retirement with anxiety, the other arrives with options. Options are the real definition of wealth, not luxury watches, not expensive cars. Options mean choosing when to work, choosing where to live, choosing how your time is spent. And ironically, those options are purchased through years of discipline most people refuse to tolerate. Quiet saving, quiet investing, quiet refusal of unnecessary consumption. These habits look boring today, but they create extraordinary freedom tomorrow. So remember the statistics you saw today: median income, median savings, median retirement. They are not predictions. They are warnings, because the average financial future already exists. Millions are walking directly toward it without noticing. Now the only question left is brutally simple. Will you join them or design a different ending?